New report from The Athletic details how Jets owner Woody Johnson, well, he's a meddler, has contributed to a disastrous 24 campaign. We caught up with Zack Rosenblatt, one of the authors of that piece, to provide some more insight on the state of the New York Jets.
I mean, I think the most surprising or jarring or whatever word you want to use is the thing that I think everybody's been pulling out of it the most is that Woody, broached the idea of benching Aaron Rodgers after week 4, which they're 2-2 at that point, pretty early in the season. He's your star quarterback, and it was floated in a meeting with a lot of people in the room. So that was the most jarring thing. When we heard it, we're like, okay. And so I think if I'm pointing to one thing in particular, it's that. I wouldn't say a lot of what was in our story surprised me necessarily, because I think everybody's kind of had an idea that Woody has been one of the more meddling day-to-day. He's involved owners in the NFL.
Here's the concern you have, right? Woody's not going anywhere. When you look at this scenario, why the decision when this team was all in this year that Woody needed to have his fingerprints all over this football team? Why not just leave it to the football men and women? I
think Woody got impatient. This is a team that hasn't been to the playoffs. It will be 14 years at the end of this season. It's the longest drought in Northern American sports. And I think Woody in general, his mindset is often results over process. And when the results aren't there, it's like, okay, why isn't this happening? Why is Aaron Rodgers not playing well enough? Why aren't we winning? Why aren't we winning? Why aren't we winning? And kind of like, Bill Belichick made fun of him, but he said Woody is ready, fire, aim. And that's kind of how Woody has always operated. And, I think there is something to be said about giving a GM 6 years to get it right, and the Jets never got it right. And so, can you blame Woody for getting involved in the 6th year or the 5th year or whatever it was? But yeah, ultimately, the best owners are the ones that hire the smart people and let them do their job. And at the end of this tenure, he did not let him do that.
The concern you have, though, for Jet fans, as they read this piece that you guys did in The Athletic and look at where this season is what exactly is going to change? If Woody is still going to remain heavily involved, how exactly is this organization going to win games on the field and be a healthy one?
I mean, what it's going to take is Woody having some self-reflection, learning from this experience. You look at, I think I get that Jets fans are not very hopeful, but I think I point to the Knicks a lot about this because, you look at James Dolan for the longest time was considered the worst owner in sports or New York. And then he hired a smart person, Leon Rose, to run the operation, gave him the keys, let him say, okay, you do your work. And it's worked out for the most part. And so Woody needs to find a smart person willing to take over, and he needs to be willing to take a step back and still be involved. He owns the team. He has the right to be involved, but hire somebody that can run this team, build it up with patience. And I think that's the only way this organization has hope, is if he learns from his mistakes.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about Aaron Rodgers. What's the likelihood? I mean, there's differing opinions. He can be back. He won't be back. Zach, what's your opinion, or what do you know in terms of Rodgers? Do you think he'll be with this team in 2025?
I'd be pretty surprised at this point, and I already felt like that as the season had gone on and his performance was, going down. You can kind of see it in his face how frustrated he was with the situation. And I think what he wanted was continuity with the people that he respects and the people that he knows, okay, I can run the offense my way with this people. And that's whether it's Robert Saleh or Jeff Ulbrich, likes both of them, and it's Joe Douglas at GM. And now all of those are probably not going to be back next year if you count Ulbrich among that. And he doesn't, I'm guessing Aaron doesn't want to, have to learn a new offense. He doesn't want to have to be cede some of that control. And I don't know that Woody wants him back, frankly. So I think that all ties together to, I'd be surprised if they didn't have a new starting quarterback in week 1 next season.
Zach, one more on Rodgers would be this. I know Boomer on WFAN mentioned the fact that he questions whether or not Rodgers is healthy. From your understanding, where is Rodgers health-wise right now?
I mean, I know he's banged up for sure, though Aaron specifically has been emphasizing how great he feels the last couple weeks. So, he's definitely playing through some stuff. He's older, so I think it's just harder to, play through when you're banged up and bruised and battered. As the season keeps spiraling and when they're officially eliminated, it wouldn't surprise me if, there's some sort of mutual thing where he winds up on IR and they kind of try to turn the page to whether it's Tyrod Taylor or whoever.
All right, I'm not going to quote Dumb and Dumber. There's always a chance. But I'm going to ask you this question, Zach. Percentage-wise here, that there's the accountability for Woody Johnson. It's been a word that's been thrown around Florham Park throughout the course of the year. A little bit of embarrassment by the way that this season has gone on, that he will finally hire football people and get the hell out of the way.
Percentage, I mean, less than 50% for sure. Like, I mean, it's one of those with the Jets in general. I always say until I see something, I won't believe it.